We're now going to move on to another topic, and it's a topic that I occasionally, to be honest, extract the Michael from. It is, and one of the biggest problems I have, one of the biggest problems I have with this, is it's called meat, non-meat meat, organic meat. Well, it's not meat, is it? It's something made from a plant or something else. And it's meant to be all the rage, to the point where a very close member of my family who was studying such things and somewhat younger than I said, oh, this is the future. Why? But a new study out from Ag Research into the attitudes of New Zealanders to the consumption of meat and, well, I think meat alternatives has revealed that Kiwis remain overwhelmingly omnivorous. The research found that although the awareness of alternative proteins or meat alternatives, well, it's stuff that's not meat, was high, the consumption of those products was rated at very low compared to other countries. And apparently the biggest consumers of non-meat meat tended to be women, younger people, and, quote, more educated, unquote, individuals. All right, joining us now to discuss this study, why it was done, what it might mean, is Senior Scientist for Ag Research. He's also the co-author of the study, Cameron Craigie. Cameron, welcome to the platform. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Good morning, Sean, and thank you very much for having me this morning.
All right, for those who do not know, what is Ag Research?
Ag Research is a Crown Research Institute that undertakes research to help and support the pastoral agricultural sector in New Zealand.
All right, so you are government-funded scientists?
We are government-funded scientists, but that isn't all of our revenue. We do commercial work as well.
Yeah. All right, but this study into alternative or meat consumption, who commissioned that?
Correct. It's a government-funded on what we call our Strategic Science Investment Fund.
All right. So what did you look at in the study?
So this study was part of a global effort done by a range of scientists from around the world looking at...
Sorry, let's just stop. I love going back into actually what's a global effort. So who set up the global effort? Who coordinated?
It was commissioned by an editor from the Journal of Meat Science. So that's where the paper's published.
Who owns the Journal of Meat Science?
Oh, you're asking me tough questions this morning, Sean. I have no idea. It's owned by a company called Elsevier, which is a publishing company.
Okay.
Who have hundreds of journals.
Okay, so they didn't. So we're just a little part of a global survey.
Yeah.
Right.
So Meat Science is a journal that's been around for 50 years. It's a scientific outlet, probably the preeminent journal in this area for meat science.
Boy, we're falling down the rabbit hole here, but that's fine. I quite like the odd rabbit hole. All right. So fundamentally, it's a survey rather than a study. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a consumer survey where we went out and we commissioned a market research company to do this actually, to go out and ask people assess their attitudes when they're purchasing meat. What's going through their mind? What's most important? And to try and understand more about what their intentions are around cutting down meat consumption, because we'd heard a lot about that, and to explore their perceptions of the alternatives. Okay,
so how many people did we survey?
1,061.
So it's just like any political survey. That's the standard. Do we know who did the survey work? Was it Curia or?
Yeah, it was done. Yeah? No, it was done by a company called Qualtrics.
Qualtrics. Okay.
Qualtrics.
Yeah. Okay. So Qualtrics. Yeah. Okay. So we survey 1,000 people. So this isn't so much a study as a survey or a poll of 1,000 New Zealanders.
Correct.
Okay. And what did the poll tell us?
Well, it's a snapshot in time, right? So, like everyone, we've heard stories about people cutting down on meat, and as researchers, for us, it's important that we actually go out and understand what consumers are thinking, because it helps us focus on what research we should be doing, as well as others in the value chain who might be trying to launch products and whatever else. Yeah. So that was the purpose.
Okay, so what do the results of well, it's not research really, it's just a poll, isn't it, What do the results of the poll tell us? That not many people have completely given up eating real meat.
No. Well, it seems that, what we saw is 93% of Kiwis still consume meat as part of their diet. It's
Wow.
It's an important part of their diet. So, and that was unsurprising in a way, because we know that meat's been a staple of the New Zealand diet, in fact, the human diet for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So, it's an important part of our culture here in New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, man
But
cannot
that's
live by bread alone.
No.
There as well. Okay, so 93% of us still consume meat. How popular is non-meat meat? Did the survey or the poll ask that question?
Yeah, we looked at alternatives. It's not necessarily categorising as non-meat meat, but we asked them what they thought about, there's some traditional ones like soy and tempeh and those sorts of things, been around for many, many years.
Yeah.
And, lots of awareness of those. 70% of respondents are aware of those. Then boiling it down to the more controversial versions, like the insect protein or the cultured meat products,
which aren't widely available, really, Cameron, are they? I mean, I don't.
No.
When I go down the new world, I don't see cricket steak for sale or anything.
No. Well, it's really what we were sort of thinking is, or we're trying to find out is, what are people's perceptions, right? So what do they think about these things? And what we saw is that whilst there might be half the people were aware of them, very few, in fact, 18% of them would actually be interested to give them a go. And what that shows is that, it would be a hard road to try and launch that type of product here.
Right, okay. So wildly unpopular, as you say, or wild disinterest there.
At the moment,
what sort of people, and I know I'm going to reinforce all my worst prejudices here, what sort of people are interested in non-meat meat?
Well, you touched on it in the intro, actually. We saw that the interest levels rose, to use a term, with higher education levels and with women. So
higher formal education levels.
I'm not in there.
Formal education.
Yeah.
So if you're a young woman at university, and it does kind of fit. It does kind of fit my preconceived notion of the vegan mung bean munching, sandal wearing hairy armpiter. Doesn't it?
Yeah, but most people don't really like those beans. I think the newer products that people are launching are a bit more tasty than that.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking the young ones in the lentil soup is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We've done a survey of 1,000 people that kind of reinforces every prejudice we've got about people who don't like red meat.
Well, you could take it that way. We took it more like, are we heading in the right direction with the things that are most important?
Well, hang on. Who says what the right direction is, Cameron? What is the right direction according to you?
Well, my role here, or our role, is doing science to support industry to meet consumer needs.
That's right. So when you say heading in the right direction, what is the right direction? To meet consumer needs?
Well, I think that red meat production and consumption, for that matter, is going to be around for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, we're working hard here to support those that are trying to make that better. To make it more efficient or less environmental impact. All of those things.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
So I guess, Cameron, and I do see what you're saying here. The idea. The somewhat naive idea that we'd all stop eating red meat and, I don't know, there'd be organic farms growing only, there'd be no animal husbandry or anything anymore. What you're saying is this survey says, guys, that is not the way of the future. We're going to be eating farmed animals or farmed meat or human-raised meat for a while. Let's really concentrate on making that process and the systems for raising and growing that meat as efficient and as environmentally sustainable and helpful as possible.
Absolutely. So you've got things that are good for the planet and good for mankind. And we're not against supporting businesses or those wanting to try and explore developing alternatives. Good on them. And no one said that the ultimate burger might not be a blend of plant and meat products. Who knows? Well,
the ultimate a good beef patty is a blend of meat and other things. I mean, exactly. It already kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we run the risk of doing an either-or when it's actually a both. Like, I mean, the majority of these products they're not really a substitute for meat, I don't think.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing, and each to their own.
Yeah, I don't know if it was covered in this survey, but given that this is your area that you're in, can I ask you, has meat consumption, though, overall dropped?
Yes, it has. So we saw 47% of our survey respondents had reduced meat consumption in the past year, and that was largely driven by affordability.
So it's not taste, it's cost. Wow.
Yeah, well, taste's an important thing for buying.
Yeah.
Everyone wants food that tastes good. It's not just about meat. That's every food. But it's really about affordability. That was the big issue, and we've seen that across the board in New Zealand.
Yeah, all right. Also, I've seen a few stories of, Cameron, about how people are eating more chicken. Is that going to be price-driven as well?
Yeah, that's price-driven. But so the chicken is the most widely consumed meat product, 33% of respondents.
Yeah.
And that's largely due to price and also availability. Like, it's very available. You can go to the supermarket and pick up a cooked chicken ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just much more available at takeaways and the like. But what's interesting about chicken is if you sort of wind back 50 years, chicken was a treat. It was a special occasion.
Yeah, it was,
now
actually.
It's every day.
Yeah.
Now it's every day, and the red meat product's a special occasion.
That's really true. When I was a kid, having a chicken or a roast chicken was a bit of a big deal.
Exactly.
When the Tegel chicken, I can remember when Tegel chicken literally first arrived in supermarkets, Cameron, it was quite you can buy these things called Tegel chickens and you can roast them. And wow, that's a really interesting perception. Look, can I just say thanks for coming on and explaining what this thing was? And also it does tend to take us down a road that I guess the more woke coverage of issues like this wouldn't have us going down, but it seems to be a more realistic road if we don't like the non-meat meat. And we're going to keep eating meat. We must well make that meat as environmentally friendly, as efficiently produced as we possibly can, because we don't want the alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to do better with taste, we want to do better with nutrition, and we want to do better with production and environmental impact, animal welfare, all of those things. It's all the things that we focus on here at Ag Research.
Good on you. Hey, Cameron, thank you so much for your time. I hope we get to talk to you again.
Thanks, John. All the best.
Cheers, bud. That is Cameron Craigie, a co-author of a study from Ag Research on our meat consumption and our alternate meat consumption, and really a poll, part of a global thing of around 1,000 New Zealanders, and we do not like that non-meat meat. I don't think I've had non-meat meat. Mind you, I've got to say too, I am eating so much less meat. I don't know, what do I eat? Crackers and cheese. No, but I'm just not a meat. Do not consume a steak. I find it hard to get a full steak down me, to be honest. These days, it's just changed. But isn't that interesting? Despite all the woke media coverage and the Green Party, you can't eat animals. That's mean. Nope, we like eating meat. But look, anyone of my age, maybe a little younger, can you? It's a really good point Cameron made about the chicken. A roast chicken used to be a big treat. And I can remember literally when watching, that's a Tegel chicken. And a Tegel chicken was a brand new piece of branding and everything. And chicken was a bit of a mist. Chicken was very, very classy. And now, of course, not at all the most consumed meat. Isn't it funny how over time our habits change? All right, I want to hear from you this morning. The lines are open, 0800 332 2283. What do you like by way of meat? Are you a chicken person? Are you a beef person? Are you a lamb person? Sean, this text, good on you. Next you'll join the Hare Krishnas. There is zero chance of that happening, I'm telling you. So what meat do you like? Are you glad to hear that the whole alternative meat thing is really just to have? No one's really bought into that, which anyone could have told you years ago. Or are you off meat? I'd love to hear from a vegan or a vegetarian. Or someone else has lost their mind that has anorexia.